All right, welcome back. I'm going to tie an Emu Caddis Pupa. It's actually a fairly easy pattern to tie. I'm going to start off with a TMC 900 barbless, size 14 in the vise, and that's going to be paired with a brown olive Cyclops bead 7/64. The thread I'm using is 8/0 in dark brown, and no wire on this one to back it up. That head's going to be pretty full when we're done. So I'm just going to put a few layers in here just to kind of get it started. And we start to work back a little ways. Next, what we need is like a brownish gray emu feather. We're going to tie it in soft tackle style. You don't need to worry about the lengths of the barbs. They're going to all get trimmed down. And so we'll just kind of pick a spot and start. Just fold that over. I'm just trying to help build up some underbody here. And then we can trim out the tip and any stragglers that you have. Okay. And we'll just take this back. To about where the barb would be, and we'll come back forward. Let me just take this up all the way behind the bead. Now we're just going to start to double this over and fold everything to the back. And we'll start to palmer this forward. You don't have to pack it in super tight. Having a little bit of distance is fine. You just want all these barbs kind of facing towards the back, and you'll see why in a minute. And while I'm doing this, I'll let you know that I've got a new storytelling series that I've been working on for several years, and I've actually just been able to bring it to light, called Where the River Bends. It's just something for you to listen to. They're short stories. They're about 5 minutes long. Based on fly fishing. It's sorry, having to pay attention there. It's historically accurate. Sometimes I add a little dialogue that obviously I was not around to hear, but I kind of imagine that something like that was said amongst the parties. So we're going to take this up, so I invite you to check that out. So I'm just going to take this up to right behind the bead. We're going to tie this off. And we'll work our thread back forward, kind of capturing it, just locking everything into place. And we'll trim this out. And now what we need to do is kind of fluff this open. And we're just going to start to trim. You want to kind of trim at an angle to give it the profile. And you can also use curved scissors. I might try to get these in here just to try to help with that taper in the back section. You want to kind of push all this open to see where it all stands. Make sure you're not missing any big ones. You want it fairly close to the body. And this is looking pretty good. I'm just going to draw everything to the back. And then we'll just take our toothbrush and kind of rough it up and use some Velcro or something. didn't have to be perfect, but there we go. Okay, so next what we need to do is create a dubbing loop. I'll start that right behind the bead. I'm just going to work slightly back into where the thorax would be. And we'll go ahead and take a piece of wax and wax both sides and dab off any extra. Now what I've done here is I've combined some hairline ice dub in gray with some natural CDC. I need my spinner. Almost forgot to grab that. And we'll just slide this up in there. And you want this reasonably sparse. And if you have a little bit of a gap left over up front, don't worry about that. It's just going to allow some extra thread to roll through. So we're going to dub this up in a dubbing spinner. That'll work. I'm going to transfer that over to my hair stuck on it. Hackle pliers, and we'll trim out the loop. Now we'll start to wrap this and palmer it forward. When you get to the material, just start to fold it to the back. Kind of like so. And then once you've run the course on the dubbing loop and the material inside, you can go ahead and pull this out. And we'll just tie this off. I'm going to stay fairly close to the bead here. Try not to trim any of your CDC or anything out. And then to cap this off, what I've got here is a grizzly hen feather dyed olive. And we only want the barbs to kind of shoot out a little bit past the bend. So I'm just going to take this and there we go, collect it and tie it in. You don't have to do anything fancy or special here. And then we'll trim out the tip. And just make sure we're starting to build that collar and work it in. Oh, fell out. That's all right. We can redo it. No problem. The stem's just fragile. It broke. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove all this fluff just to make sure it doesn't get in my way. And anything that's super long. I don't want anything super long. And we only really need basically one turn here. So again, we'll just kind of fold that over and double it over. Drawing everything to the back. Get rid of what we don't need on the back side. And we'll tie that off. And fold the stem over. And pop it. Now we'll do a wet whip to finish it off. And if you don't like the way the head looks, you can add, let's go ahead and do it, but you can add a little extra dubbing if you want. The way I'll typically do this is I'll just take the dubbing and kind of lay it across the top. You want to kind of pick and pull it apart so that it lays flat. And it looks like a lot, and it kind of is, but it's going to get shrunken down when we start to just pull it out. And so if you don't like the gap you have in your collar, you can kind of backfill it that way. And we just tie it off and do the same thing. And if you wanted to, you could add more olive grizzly hackle and just set the darn thing down. And now I can't seem to find it. I had a couple strands laying around. I'll show you a way that I do that. Well, I was going to show you a way that I do that, but you get the idea. So you can do that. Now then what I'll do before I tie it off is I'll lick my fingers and kind of draw a lot of that up to the top. Place a few wraps in so that I've got more of a back coming over the top. Kind of like so. I'll just go ahead and wet whip this again. I just wanted to add that extra so you can see if, you know, if you're if you got too much real estate left up front, you don't like the way it looks, you can kind of backstep just a fuzz. There you go. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and send this fly over to the vault. Hope you join me over there at flyvault.net. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. And other than that, everybody, happy tying. Take care, and I'll see you next time.